Hey, peace of Christ, Pastor Josh here. If you didn't notice, I'm in the worship center today, and the reason for that is I want to just kind of prep you for what's happening this summer. We are, if you haven't heard yet, we're doing a remodel, and really stage one of that is going to happen this summer. This has been something that's been in the works for really 3 years now, as we've raised money, as we've done planning, as we've, talked to you as a congregation, and even sought your input and finally your vote on this project. And so a lot has gone into, and so just thank you for everyone who's had something to say about this, who's been on the committee, who's talked with us on the committee, who's raised your input, your thoughts, your ideas. It really has been a great collaborative effort, and so just thank you for that as a church. But I'm kind of a little ways away, and I'm a little ways away for a reason to kind of start this out today. And I just want to remind you one of the things that the committee kind of worked through about this space, and that's just kind of the challenge of how wide our stage is. And the challenge of how wide our stage is, there's benefits in having it wide, but the challenge for most Sundays, having it this wide means your eye is kind of darting all around during the worships. And so what we want to do, one of the big design concepts that we want to approach, and was professionals told us this and other people told us this, is we got to narrow the space. We got to really pull the eye to the center. And so that's kind of one of our big tasks that we're going to work on in this project. And so I want to go through a lot of the things that you will see, but then quickly, just a few things you won't see. They won't be very visible. We are putting a new sound system in. We have new lighting, although you'll see the effects of the lighting. But those are some of the things that may not be as visible to you, but some things that will be happening in July as our AVL work, audio visual lighting work happens. And that really is a bulk of the cost of this project. And just a big thank you to everyone who gave. We had people that pledged and some people who are still giving. We're calling that PWC Next. That's really helping us do things in this building, but then also out in our community. But that's really where the funds for this is coming from. But I want to talk about the space and kind of what you're going to see this summer changing up here up front. And so I want to start all the way out the outside wall, and I apologize my camera moving, but I want to start on the very outside wall. This is where the screens used to be, right? All the way up there. But where these screens are going to do is they're going to move inside of me. I'll show you in just a second. But really this whole wall back here, that whole wall that you see right now, it's going to be painted a really dark gray. And the reason for that is we really want to shift your eye inside to kind of where all the action is. It'll allow us, when we need the whole stage, we can expand out, but really when we're not expanded out, we can kind of focus your eye inside. And so I want to move into these brick walls, these angled walls, if you will. And there's really going to be a lot of changes happening on those angled walls. So the bottom 8 feet of this angled wall, these brick walls, the bottom 8 feet is going to be portable backdrop panels. So what they are is they're backlit panels that allow us to put kind of stencils on and have a design. And so you can see the one in the rendering outside in the lobby. But those will allow us a lot of flexibility, as well as the ability to take them down and not have them there. But then after that first 8 feet, the next 6.5 feet will be our new screens. That's part of our audio-visual lighting design, and those new screens are going to come in, and they're going to be on these angled walls. And the thing that's really cool about that is you'll be able to see really easily, almost in this, without turning your head, you'll be able to see me and the slides that I'm showing. You'll be able to see, like, when the musicians, when Ellie or Jonathan are playing the piano, you'll be able to see them and the words very easily, or the singers that right now are underneath that screen. You'll be able to kind of engage in all that. And really the idea is we're going to pull all of your attention into the center. And then at the very center is really the reminder of what we're about, and that's our cross. The committee was very, very, very set on having a cross in the space. They thought that was a given, thought that was a must for us as a church, because we always be reminded of the love and grace of Jesus that he's given to us. But the reality is, and it was a hard thing. It's challenging. We got a lot of feedback from a lot of you. We had a lot of conversations, but it was ultimately decided to retire this cross. And that was a challenging decision. It was first recommended by the committee, and it was even challenging for them to make that recommendation. But they made that recommendation. The congregation voted on that, and it was decided that it's time to retire this cross. So on May 19th, we're going to celebrate this cross and everything it was to us. really the 20 years of history that it was. And so that was a challenging thing, but that's the thing that we decided to do to move forward. But there is a new cross being built that's going to go front and center. Here, part of these walls, the outside corridor of these walls are going to be painted. And then in the very middle behind the cross, there's going to be wood that's going to be put on this wall. And so I really like that. We have a lot of flexibility outside with this very kind of reverent, respectful, you can maybe say traditional, but kind of a timeless cross with a backdrop of wood that's here in the center that's going to allow us to really be very flexible outside, but still have this reverent center that focuses us again on what Jesus Christ did for us. On the stage is going to be new flooring, new carpet put down on this stage. This carpet's been here for quite a while. It needs patches, it needs fixed, so we're gonna do that. And then the final thing is here on the front of the platform. This wood's going to be changed out, and this wood on the front of the platform actually is going to be the same wood that's behind the cross, and so that's going to line up there and really work together and really match well. So that's kind of what happened in this summer. So be in prayers, be thinking about it, be asking questions when you have it. And the final thing I would say is if you're able to, volunteer to help us on May 18th and May 25th. We could use a lot of help. Those are really our two big work days where we're going to be working together and doing things together as a church. But be in prayer for that. And then the last thing with that, I know I said last thing. This is really the last thing. Know that kind of the 18th and 25th, those being our two work days, those next days after that, the Sundays after that, you are going to see a lot of changes in here. And just so be aware of that. Be aware that we have a timeline, but in construction, sometimes timelines change. And so we're just going to do our best to kind of communicate with you and let you know what to expect. But do know that changes are happening here. And just pardon our mess as we work to make our space great and beautiful and wonderful, and a place where you can invite your community in and you can invite your friends and family here to Peace with Christ. You guys have a great day. God bless.